Hello, and welcome to my guide on how to refute the Englund Gambit. If you play 1d4, you're going to face the Englund Gambit sooner rather than later. It's trash, but it's also dangerous. You can easily fall into a trap by playing a seemingly natural-looking move, and you'll be embarrassed quickly. In this video, I'll show you one dead simple line to remember that shuts down this gambit every single time and guarantees you the advantage with 100% consistency. The Englund Gambit begins after white plays 1d4, and black follows up by playing the move pawn to e5, gambiting a pawn immediately on turn 1. Now, the best way to refute the Englund Gambit is to actually accept the gambit by taking the pawn, and then forcing black to actually try and find the compensation for their sacrifice. From white's perspective, our game plan is going to be that we're going to defend this pawn if it's convenient, but at some point, we're going to be happy sacrificing this pawn back in order to gain a lead in development. So, knowing that our rough game plan is not to be too committed into trying to hold on to this pawn, but trying to focus on development over anything else. Now, nearly 100% of players as black in this position are going to play the move knight to c6, developing their knight, and adding a threat onto the e5 pawn. Now, sticking to our game plan, we have a way of naturally developing a piece while also developing the e-pawn, so we can develop naturally while also defending our pawn with the move knight to f3. Now, most players as black, if they know what they're doing here, are going to try the move queen to e7. This is really the move in the Englund Gambit that actually sets up a trap. The real trap in this line is that the natural looking move bishop to f4 in order to try and defend your e-pawn is actually a pretty major inaccuracy. And the reason why this move is an inaccuracy is that black has this sneaky move, queen to b4 check, which double attacks your bishop, the king, and the b-pawn, actually a triple attack. And then in this position, black gets a lot of sneaky counterplay, and there's a very famous line where if you try and defend with your bishop and they capture your pawn, there's a really famous checkmate line here that can end very quickly if a line such as this were to happen, and this position is checkmate. So the really important thing we have to remember is that we cannot develop our bishop to f4 in order to try and defend this pawn. This is a huge inaccuracy. So it's actually in this position that we should think about our game plan, that we're not too committed to try and hold on to this pawn. The best move in this position is instead to just ignore the pawn entirely and just change our focus onto development and play the move knight to c3, developing our knight and forgetting about this pawn altogether. The reason why we're able to do this is that if black captures our pawn with their knight, we're actually not going to capture their knight, and black has wasted 2 turns with this knight just to be able to recapture the pawn they've already given to us for free. So now in this position, material's equal, and after a move such as bishop f4 and captures, we have 2 pieces developed, while black barely has a queen developed, their bishop is blocked, and their other bishop is also blocked. So already in this position, we're starting to build a really nice lead in development, while material is also equal at the same time. From here, the most natural move for black is either developing the knight or playing a move like pawn to d6. Regardless pretty much of what black plays, we're going to play the move pawn to e4, just pushing our pawn and taking space in the center while we can. And from here, from white's point of view, it doesn't really make sense to castle kingside because of this opening on the g-file, so we want to try and set up castling queenside. So we can play a move like queen to d4 in order to set up queenside castling on the next turn. And now we're already castled, we have a lead in development, material's equal, and our position is also favorable because we have more space. Literally everything in the position is favoring white. So That's pretty much everything we need to know in order to refute the Englund Gambit 100% of the time. So to quickly recap everything, after we play d4, the Englund Gambit starts after pawn to e5. We're going to accept the gambit and force black to try and find compensation. They're going to try and attack our pawn, and we're only going to try and defend it if it's convenient for us. As soon as they play the move queen to e7, we have to remember that the move bishop to f4, as natural as it looks, is a mistake because it walks into queen b4. So instead of bishop to f4, we're going to ignore this pawn altogether and instead just start focusing on development, allowing black to recapture the pawn and waste time in order to do so we can build a lead in development instead. And that's everything you need to know to refute the Englund Gambit. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, good luck in your future chess games. Have a good rest of your day, and goodbye.